Hello everyone. Since I'm not able to present to you in person, I just wanted to take a second to show you what I look like, so you could imagine this face behind the narration if you wanted. If you are watching this in PowerPoint, I've set up the presentation to run automatically, so you do not need to click anything or press anything on the keyboard. If the presentation stops, please resume from the last slide you were just on. If you experience repeating issues with the presentation, please click on this link right here to watch a recording of my presentation on YouTube. Now, without further ado, let's get into the presentation. The Quaking Aspen. A comprehensive presentation by me, Oakley Afualo. The quaking aspen, also known as Populus tremuloides for you Latin speakers out there, is a type of deciduous tree commonly found throughout the upper areas of North America. It is one of a half-dozen species of aspen, the other common species being the European aspen, the Chinese aspen, and the big-tooth aspen. Quaking aspen are a member of the Salicaceae, or willow family, and are of the genus Populus. Quaking aspen most often grow in large clusters of trees called clonal colonies, or clones for short. Remember this because we'll be coming back to it later. These colonies can thrive anywhere from 5,000 to 12,000 feet of elevation in many different types of soil. Its ability to grow in a variety of conditions makes it one of the most widely distributed tree species in North America. Here is a map illustrating the areas where quaking aspen grow in North America. A single quaking aspen can be expected to grow up to 50 feet tall with a spread of 30 feet, and it grows upwards at an astounding rate of 24 inches per year. Quaking aspen have thin, teardrop-shaped leaves with very minute teeth around the edge. The leaves tend to be 1.5 to 3 inches in diameter, which is about this big when compared to the average adult hand. The leaves turn from a moderate green to a bold yellow in the fall. This stunning display of color never ceases to catch a photographer's eye. I personally find this transformation to be absolutely mesmerizing. Another characteristic feature of the quaking aspen is its bark. These trees have smooth, white to sage green colored bark with dark knots or eyes. Other than looking like off-brand birch, quaking aspen bark has the ability to photosynthesize. Yep, you heard me right. Aspen trees can convert light energy into chemical energy through their bark, not just their leaves. That's also why some aspen bark is green. It's from chlorophyll. Quaking aspen isn't the only name for Populus tremuloides. The trees are also called trembling aspen, quivering aspen, golden aspen, American aspen, quakies, the list goes on. As the names imply, the leaves of quaking aspen flutter or tremble in even the slightest breeze. They are able to do this because of a uniquely shaped petiole. Almost all plants have petioles. They support the leaves of a plant and transfer energy and nutrients between the two. Where most petioles are rigid, the petioles of aspen trees are flat and flexible, allowing the leaves to move around in a breeze. It is believed that quaking aspen evolved this ability to limit the amount of direct sunshine each leaf can receive, as too much sunshine can be detrimental to the plant. When added up across a whole colony of aspens, this rustling of leaves can create a substantial amount of noise. So much noise, in fact, that the Onondaga tribe of the Iroquois referred to the tree as nut-ki-e, meaning noisy leaf. Though it may drown out the other sounds of nature, many find this arborical din quite therapeutic. Let's take a listen. Pando, which is Latin for "I spread," is the name of the oldest known aspen clone in the world, located in the Fish Lake National Forest in Utah. It is estimated to cover 106 acres of land and has been alive for 80,000 years. Now, how can that be? Well, it has to do with what I mentioned earlier about how groups of aspen are called clones. If you were to compare the DNA of two trees in a clone, you would find that they are completely identical. That's because all of the aspen trees of a clone share one root system, as illustrated in this diagram. Though they look like separate trees, they are all one massive organism. In fact, Pando is believed to be the world's largest living thing. This shared root system is essential to Quaking Aspen's reproductive process. Aspen clones grow new saplings from the underground root networks that connect each tree. When a tree dies, signals are sent through the roots and new saplings grow in its place. These saplings then grow into strong, mature trees which can last decades in the right conditions. This is exactly how the cycle worked in Pando, until 90 years ago. Animals such as deer, elk, goats, and sheep typically feed on young quaking aspen, though smaller animals like beavers and porcupines have also been known to eat them. These animals then attract other species like wolves and wildcats, which prey on them. The animals' dietary habits have been good, historically, for colonies like Pando, because the disturbance from animals grazing would encourage the tree to send up more saplings. But, over the past many decades, these herbivores have begun to eat up nearly all of Pando's young trees. If this keeps up, Pando could die out completely. In a PBS News story, Utah State University professor Paul Rogers compared Pando to a town populated entirely by elderly people.
We have essentially a community that's made up entirely of senior citizens. We have no babies, we have no teenagers, we have no young adults, we have only senior citizens, and those are starting to die very rapidly at this time.
Pando may not have enough young trees left to repopulate the clone once the old ones die off. For thousands of years, the predatory species around Pando kept the herbivore population under control. But, because of hunting and development in the area, these predators have greatly declined in number, allowing the herbivore population to spiral out of control. With more animals eating the saplings, there are significantly less trees left to repopulate Pando. Efforts have been made to conserve Pando. Certain areas have been fenced off to allow new growth to mature. Though these protective areas have grown back, this is not a viable way to regrow the whole clone. Other than screwing up the natural tranquility of nature that has existed for tens of thousands of years, man has some other uses for quaking aspen. Aspen wood is rarely used for construction or woodworking because of how soft it is, but it is used in things like matches, chopsticks, and even saunas. In the past, quaking aspen bark and leaves were used to remedy common ailments. This is because the bark contains salicin, a chemical which is similar to aspirin. Historically, many cultures believed that aspen trees had certain magical or spiritual properties. The Celts of Ireland made shields out of aspen wood, not just because it was lightweight, but also because it was believed to protect the user from spiritual threats. The belief in aspen trees' protective power also extended to civilians who would plant the trees near their homes to either ward off evil spirits or protect buried treasure. The Celts also believed that aspen could communicate with the spirit world or the afterlife. They believed that the rustling of leaves helped the wind speak with deceased ancestors. This earned it the name whispering tree. The aspen was considered a sacred tree by the Celts, and as such, it was to be treated with care and respect. As significant as it was in the past, the quaking aspen may play an even bigger role in the future of mankind. Mars. It's been quite the hot topic for a while now, and the belief that it'll one day be populated by man is increasing. In 2019, a group of researchers at the University of Warwick in England came up with a way to use Martian dust storms to generate electricity, a design inspired by the leaves of Quaking Aspen. The device was originally intended for use in terrestrial weather stations, but was later adapted for use in Martian territory. The team of researchers examined the quaking leaf's ability to exploit a minute breeze, and they developed a mechanical model which imitated the leaf's basic movements. When tested in a wind tunnel, the device oscillated back and forth as expected. Although the energy output is relatively small, it is enough to power many autonomous electrical devices. Who knows? In a few years, this tree-inspired technology could help researchers explore our planetary neighbors. The quaking aspen is a fascinating tree, with roots in our history and a potential branch in our future. I hope you learned something from this presentation, and that you walk away from it with a better appreciation for the natural wonders of our world. This has been Oakley Afualo with the Quaking Aspen. Thank you for watching.